I think me and Nick are double clicking on each other.
Yeah, we had okay, we're here.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Or wait, it's Friday. God,
yes.
It always throws me off when we do this wrong.
I knew you were going to do that. But yes, happy Friday. We're here at a special time.
You don't know me.
Every time we do it on a Friday, you say happy Thursday. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all for joining in at our not normal time and not very much notice. But hey, we're here. Move some things around this week. But yes, we're here today. We've already had some great conversations in our brief green room time with our guests. So I don't even know. This is going to be a wild show today. I think it's going to be great.
Man, I wish we would record some of the green room stuff because that was probably a good conversation.
Maybe we make some great YouTube shorts, I think, as well. We'll have to see if that's even an option. I don't know. But
that's an option.
Yeah, record the green room before you go live, and then
we can record. I thought you were talking about shorts, but
no, I don't know. Yes, and yes. We'll figure it out. I guess we'll have some quick banter before we bring the guest on. Anything fun and exciting, Nikki? What's going on with you?
Most importantly, I am getting jazzed up for Cloud Foundry Day next week on Wednesday. Been talking to some of the people that are going to show up. Can't wait to see some old faces and new faces. So I think first and foremost, that's what I'm excited about.
Yes, it is 4 days, 13 hours, 19 minutes, and 15 seconds away. So yes, I am also excited about Cloud Foundry Day. We'll be in live in person. We'll see a lot of our friends, and it's going to be some great conversations.
Man, I should take your little countdown and see if we couldn't put it in the corner of the recording for the whole show. Just have the countdown.
Yeah, it's just on my phone nonstop.
Yep. Yeah. And when we bring everybody on, I think we're going to have to do a little bit of the green room talk because we're watching this knife fight. It's VHS versus Beta. So happening between Nick and a guest that everybody knows, talking about data center power and
Yeah. You want to bring him on? How about that? Let's get into it. Yeah. All right. So first and foremost, we'll bring on DaShaun. Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining again.
We're just licking my wounds here.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. And shout out to Keith. All returning guests, friends of the pod. Happy to have you here on this Friday morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in.
Let's clue everybody in. So what we were talking about in the green room was the data centers that Nick has and the data centers that DaShaun has, taking two different approaches. We got server racks on the Nick Kuhn side, and we've got Pi Army on the DaShaun side. And it's funny because we always talking about AI, and there's a lot of concern right now about AI is going to melt the world because of all the processing power. I did the math. I don't know if you know, between our two, between Nick and DaShaun, they account for approximately 18% of all the heat and electricity power that's being taken right now in the pursuit of AI.
I can safely say that 18% of the heat generated in this house comes from that closet right there.
I'm working on a small nuclear reactor to take my AI to the next level now. I don't know. So in my style, I came into the green room last, so I kind of just jumped right in, and I don't even know how it started, but we were comparing resource capacity between the two sites, let's say. But I don't know.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I think
it's always good to have goals. It's always good to have goals.
Nick he's using all of his AI stuff that he's been doing to try to recreate the arc reactor from Iron Man just to power his house.
Yeah. One day we'll get there.
Yeah. I'm just realizing now that, everybody has the cool lighting. I got a little bit of lighting back there behind the couch, and I'm realizing I'm doing it wrong. I just need to bring out one of the computers that has all the lights behind it.
Yeah.
Let that be my ambiance. Let that be. The whole problem is I buy the cheap computers and they have the really loud fans, so they just wouldn't work in my house.
I could tell at my house. I live in Colorado. I could tell at my house every time DaShaun powers up his Pi Army because my electricity kind of goes down and comes back up a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, DaShaun's doing something. Yeah. He's tinkering today.
I think we just all need some RGB lights in the background everywhere. And the headache of getting them all working properly. Was that a problem, Keith? Or was it not too bad?
What's the name of the open source? All the vendors have their own kind of specific tools, but when you mix brands, that's when the fun happens. And yeah, is it OpenRGB or
that sounds familiar?
So many tools, and there's so many standards. Yeah, it's a rat hole. Yeah. You can go
I want to get what y'all have in the background. I'm slowly working on trying to build this up so I can get rid of the green screen and have something interesting. Like, Keith, what you've got is going. That's phenomenal.
It is.
And the bubble blowing llama, that's awesome. I need to get some kind of interest. Don't get me wrong. I love the green screen. Nick did a great job coming up with this graphic, but I want to get something a little bit better.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Baby
steps. Baby steps.
That's what we do.
Oh wait,
were we discussing about this before, Nick? I don't know what show it was, but we've all been there every day.
Oh, that is nice.
And Legos.
Yeah.
That is nice. I'm jealous.
And it seems like Legos are all the rage. My CEO, we had a podcast with him. He's got like the big Millennium Falcons and all the Star Wars stuff behind him, and it's amazing. I can't imagine how many hours went into that.
And rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wow.
Look at this.
Yeah. So we really just brought Keith on to just show us what's going on behind him. And then he's got a whole racing sim right behind him too. So like, I got nothing on that. Right?
That has been on my mind. The Micro Center had it on sale for a little while. I have the monitors and stuff, and it's got a little, like, they have a little kit. You just buy all the parts, and then you plop your box on it, and you're off to the races. Right? And that's been on my mind for a while.
I look at Keith's setup, and the only thing I can think of is, man, Keith, you've got the best childhood right now than you've ever had. You got, I'm guessing you got more toys and stuff now than you had when you were a kid. That's
10-year-old me is proud.
Oh, it's so cool having,
and you're just seeing
having McDonald's money.
You can't even see what's behind the camera.
All right, so rabbit hole.
Yeah. And there goes the hour. Right. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for showing up.
You should like and subscribe if you like the show. Thanks, folks.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
What's happening?
Yeah, what is going on? It's somewhat closely related to home lab gear and capacity.
It wasn't a rabbit hole.
No, and
What a back.
Yeah.
We're on topic.
So within the hardware conversations, we are frequently now talking about, I guess within our Tanzu world of friends ecosystem, about this Tanzu Small Runtime or SRT or small footprint or whatever you like to call it, but it's the smaller version of the Tanzu platform that we like to install to save resources, and you can fit on machines, single machines. You can use it even in production if you just want to kind of get bootstrapped on a lighter footprint per se, right? And that's kind of where we're at. So,
can we give a little history?
Yeah.
About the small footprint, small runtime? Like, where did this come from? How long has it been around?
It came from the pivotal days. I don't know the official launch date per se, but it's been around for quite some time, as far as I can remember. Yep. And I've been around for a while, right?
Yeah, it was originally created to be kind of the demo lab, the POC. To show, what you could do without having to have a whole bunch of hardware or run up a bunch of VMs. So it was really kind of for labs. It was for testing. That being said, there's been a lot of improvements in small runtime. So, if you look back in the pivotal days, we used to say, hey, this is only for about 3,000 AIs, and you really don't want to do this, with anything other than a lab. That's not true anymore. I think that there are a lot of use cases for small runtime. I've been very, very vocal about what we could do with small runtime. Data as a service, something that small runtime could absolutely feel. Cloud Foundry on the edge. I think that's something that should be explored a little bit more often, and I think that's possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. We were using it 8 years ago in Dell. I think we were using it.
I remember 2019 that's where I remember it from. I was definitely using it, and maybe it was even the end of 2019, but I definitely remember using it in 2019. My history of it was I was standing up. I'm a big fan of automation. I like to stand up and tear down things. We had this concept of a tinderbox, like, hey, let's deploy everything here, grab the new tiles, do a new deployment, validate that it works, and then just burn it up. There's no reason for it to stand up because we were just trying to validate a thing. So we had these environments that come and go. And in my space, I had these foundations that I was standing up in AWS, Azure, and GCP, and in the home lab. And what I was doing was every day, I was just like standing up, grab the latest tiles, stand it up and tear it down. And in the automation, it took a while. I was also validating using the health checks and all that kind of stuff to make sure everything works. And then I started playing with small runtime. And at that point, the idea was that, small runtime should deploy faster. It should deploy faster because there's less VMs and it'll work faster. So maybe it was a 4-hour process at the end. Maybe that 4-hour process could get shaved down, but it actually was taking longer back in 2019. So I'm excited to kind of circle back and see all of the improvements that have come since 2019, 2020 in this small runtime.
Yeah. We always talk about everybody, what's your first Cloud Foundry experience? My first install experience was small runtime.
And what year was that?
That was, oh, good Lord. What is it, 2025 today? Probably like 2019. I'd have to go back and look. So it was when I went to work for a healthcare company and wanted to learn what we were going to be doing.
So it's been around for a while.
Yep. Installed it on a small computer just to get me going.
Small computer.
Yep.
I remember when it came out though, but my first install was the Elastic Runtime. SRT was not a thing yet. I think we were like Elastic Runtime 1 something. I remember the DA to Diego migration as well. So all those things. But anywho, yeah, we've seen a lot of traction and mileage with SRT. We're using it a lot in our Gen AI kind of POCs and bootstraps as we have this Gen AI tile thing that we're talking about a lot too as well. It's a great way to kind of bootstrap a new environment, especially if you're new to the environment, that type of thing. But even SRT now, it's fully HA. You can run multiple cells, multiple controller nodes. You can put it in front of a load balancer and do all that type of thing. And even if you wanted to go start small and go to the full or proper Elastic Runtime, you can even do an in-place upgrade without a full delete and reinstall as well now. So
yeah, we've all been in that situation of where something is being prototyping and it's sitting there and it gets used, and all of a sudden, where someone's putting some serious workloads on this, and rather than tear down, which Tan's platform is great at tearing down building, but it's just you can upgrade to the full fat model.
This is a new thing, right? This is something that didn't exist back in 2019.
Well, newish. Right. Yeah. I mean, the upgrade's been there for what? 2 years? Six?
From small runtime to Elastic or full?
Yeah. And it's an often used phrase, but that was game changing because we all know MVPs end up becoming the product in a lot of places. So you start up a lab with small runtime and then you get to where, okay, this has got bigger than we thought it was going to be and we've got to upgrade it. Now you have that ability. You can upgrade. Now you can't go backwards, which is probably a good thing, but you can go forward.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite you're doing a basic install, you're looking at 4 VMs versus 11 to 13, depending what kind of config you're doing. You're trying to do a minimum config. Yeah, the footprint is literally, as they say, small footprint. It's tiny. Yeah.
In the use cases, I mean, going back, what we always talk about, you want to MVP, you want to try POC, the Gen tile, the Gen AI tile. You want to do something with that. Great use case for that. You want to create micro foundations. We're always talking about microservices. Let's talk about micro foundations. You want to spin up a bunch of little foundations instead of one big one to be able to spread your hardware cost around, be able to, go where the money's cheapest. If even if you want to do that, where you can let the bean counters kind of come in and say where we're going to install stuff. This all makes for a great use case.
Yeah.
I was super stoked to see small runtime come in.
Well, I think too, it's really interesting because you can take a platform and run it on like, a relatively small, like, it's 4 VM footprint. But now I'm also being involved in customer conversations where they're talking about building their next generation of Cloud Foundry, Tanzu platform. And the conversation is more evolving into okay, we're going to get 3 sites and, or we already have 3 sites, three data centers. They're already, dark fibered together, like in a metro, like a MAN connection type scenario. And each site is going to be availability zone, similar to like how like public clouds operate. Yep. And we're going to span a foundation across all 3 sites because we are at that scale. And it's like you can go from really small to like, we're literally basically operating a cloud region at this point, and we're using Bosch to deploy, orchestrate across, like 3 separate vCenters, 3 separate, minimum 3 separate clusters in vCenters, if not more. Then you have Bosch and orchestrating, multiple HA copies of everything. The data services can, multi-AZ replicate across and everything. It's just like this magic where you can go like start small and get started to like mega cloud scale at the same time. So pretty cool to see the product be I guess elastic in many ways, right?
Careful. You don't want the big ones coming down on. Well, and also, I mean, that is, VMware's been talking about what the 4th cloud is, and the 4th cloud is on-prem. And this is actually bringing in that ability to be the 4th cloud and do things kind of, what the public cloud does.
I still argue VMware is the first cloud, but
yeah, I would say if we had to go back in time, it was,
I can't disagree with that, but
yeah,
I mean, but you look at, being able to do the small runtime, you got 3 availability zones. Now you split that up into 3 different foundations. I would argue that maybe it's even getting better than public cloud possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, especially from cost perspective, and seeing, I think, even more and more customers of like we're definitely seeing there's like this cloud first mentality that ripped through the industry. That it's just like everything's got to go to public cloud no matter what, because reasons, right? And then it's like, well, we started doing this and it's becoming expensive and it's slow and it's not really great, right? Yeah, money is just, we're just taking, barrels of money, like pallets of money and put it into barrel fire, right? Like
and
literally,
data sovereignty is huge.
Yeah, sovereignty, security. This VM that cost me, nothing now costs me $40,000 a year to run, times thousands, that type of thing.
Yeah, public cloud's going to be cheaper. I mean, that was the thing everybody said, right? Well, we're going to go to public cloud because it's cheaper. Holy crap, what's this $3 million bill we just got because somebody left all their VMs running?
And then it turned to, well, like if you lift and shift, it won't be cheaper, but then you need to modernize, and then eventually it'll be cheaper, and then you'll get your ROI. And to like, how is that okay either? Like even the cloud providers are now saying that like, yeah, it's going to be more expensive if you move this, but then that's on you to modernize your app. Right. Yeah. Anyway,
there's always
strange times. Yeah.
There's always like, and especially like they're more ones I've come across is like when they burst the cloud, that's a very valid one where if something coming up, a launch or something, we can burst onto the cloud rather than just getting in kit just for something like that.
Or you need to run in a specific region for something and either don't have time or whatever. Like, you can drop a Tanzu platform environment or whatever environment in a certain geo or region that you need to drop and run workloads, or it's just depending on like, I can run data centers here, but I need to use some cloud. I can do a hybrid cloud. It's just making more using cloud in the best possible way and that makes the most sense type of thing. So I think, I think we're getting there, and it's great to see that. But I definitely continue to see the private cloud is definitely becoming more and more of a thing, and maybe even like we should do more of this, and just generally. So,
and I think Keith just dropped a bombshell there that we just kind of glossed over about the bursting. I mean, that is huge. I mean, hybrid cloud, if you're using public cloud correctly, and I've got strong opinions on this. It'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks. But if you're using public cloud correctly, bursting is one of those use cases that is huge. Absolutely huge. So seasonal traffic, holiday traffic, the Super Bowl coming up, you're not running that stuff all the time at that kind of load. You're running it at a reduced load. So run that where it's private, where you've got the control over it. But when you need that hardware, because that's where public cloud's great. It's supply chain. It's getting, access to hardware on demand. being able to burst that up and take care of those high moments, huge. And that's something that, we always talk about with public cloud, but it's been there with Cloud Foundry since inception, if you really kind of architected it out right.
Mm-hmm.
DaShaun, I see you shaking your head a whole lot and pointing at me, man. Throw your thoughts in.
I'm loving this. I'm loving it. Like the cloud, when the cloud became a thing, like, I was working data centers, and this idea, where I worked, things spiked at the holidays. Yet we were still investing in the data center to meet that high water mark, even though most of the year we weren't even close.
Exactly.
And like, oh boy, like if only we could just kind of like borrow some compute for a month. That'd be great. We'd save a few million. That'd be swell.
Yep. That's like going out and buying a Ferrari, but you're only going to use it for, 1 week a year.
Yeah. That sounds a lot what it's like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it already works 1 week of the year.
The gauntlet's been thrown.
Good times. Good times. So
Sean's got a comment. Let's throw this up there. The greatest trick the cloud providers ever pulled was convincing people that it's cheaper. 100% agree, man. Like I said, I think you can if you use it right, but a lot of people are looking at public cloud as this is our next data center. They're not looking at it in ways that it can augment what they've already got. They're looking at, hey, this is a lift and shift, and guess what? Lift and shifts, you can do it, but you're gonna get your finance guy is gonna get a little pithy with you.
Yeah, there's the hidden costs that you find out fairly quickly. The egress costs, the ingress costs. It's things what you're pushing, while the compute price per whatever unit you're using it, but it's these other things. If you're pushing up a lot or pulling it out, like they're the hidden ones that really can burn you.
Yep, it's like the Spirit Airlines of computing, right? Hey, yeah, we can get you an airplane seat for $100. Oh, you actually want to use the bathroom? Well, that's going to be another $20. Oh, you actually want to enter, through a gateway? Well, that's going to be another $15. Next thing you know, you're paying more than what you would have on any other airline.
Would you like a seatbelt? No.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't mean to take the whole time about private versus public cloud conversations, but I always enjoy a good conversation there. But I guess we should probably talk about more of the what are we doing with Tanzu Small Runtime. I know, like DaShaun, you have a talk about it next week. You were actually working on it in your lab. Keith's been doing all kinds of things in regards to like automating, having more automated installs and simplified installs for Tanzu Small Runtime. I guess I know you have some repo and some code out there, Keith.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of dive into that and kind of talk to that a little bit? We actually did a whole other recording that I haven't edited yet, like a long form version of installing it, like the hard way, aka fully manual. So I need to edit that and publish that if you want to see the full guide, because we don't have in our hour time slots, we can't do a full install and wait, we can't take a 30-minute coffee break while apply changes runs, that type of thing. So there's some more content around there, but I guess this might tee all that conversation up as well. So,
and there goes Nick Kuhn with the art of anticipation. We've got this great video that I haven't done anything with and haven't shown anybody. Yes,
just like all the past 2 podcast episodes I haven't published yet either. So just wait. There's always more. Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Keith, first of all, thank you for all the hard work that you put into your automation. One of the big things that I like is having an easy button. It's a thing that I like to give. I like to give an easy button. And when I've got a script that kind of, hey, check these boxes, do these things, and then hit this button, that's nice.
Yeah. That was the goal, because when I run automation, like in previous companies and more bigger installs, I use the platform automation toolkit, enterprise supported thing. But at the end, for someone to get started quickly, like it's a great toolkit, but then you have to stand up that toolkit first. Like, you have to stand up this before you can do this.
Yeah. Who builds the builder?
Something a stopgap. I just want to click and go. So that was the goal. And you ping me during the week. Where is it? I want to go play with it. So you got the first version. So this week I've been writing a new one. Enhanced version that is even easier, less inputs. and more pre-flight checks. You never want to be your true install and something trips up at the last minute. So loads of pre-flight checks. So again, you need even less knowledge of the platform to do it.
So you're going to put the link to the repo up?
That one's not public yet, but it's because I just finished writing a bit more things. But
so it's coming.
The current one, I'm going to show in the chat.
Anticipation.
Yeah. That's our but yeah, we got to keep everybody interested, so you can come back, like and subscribe, watch all our shows, comment. Come check us out at Cloud Foundry Weekly next week. I have new stickers too. I didn't. I meant to show them, but they're upstairs and not here. So anyway, you'll have to just check out the show next week. I'll have the new stickers in sight, and I'll even show them on the screen. How about that?
That's fantastic.
I'm trying to look it up. So when you're playing with your automation, did you go back and look, and did you incorporate any of the stuff that we had on a past episode with Tony? I think it was like episode 13. Or is this all something that you're just doing on your own there, Keith?
No, so this is just a basic, very basic install, not using Concourse or anything, just using PowerShell. Again, because I'm going to go, especially for the VMware audience, they're, typically, PowerShell savvy, but you don't even have to be PowerShell savvy. So just, my goal was little to no prereqs or knowledge. So introducing Concourse, there'd be a bit of a lift to that.
Yep.
And it's based on, like we all know, William Lamb and his script. So took his the way he kind of structures them and forms. So use that as a basis, and then built upon it and enhanced it.
That's awesome.
And just transparency, I love your script. I love what you're doing, but I don't like PowerShell. So I'm
bring that up.
I'm converting it to a Spring Shell CLI.
Well, we knew the Spring Shell was going to come in. Me personally, I love PowerShell. I love PowerShell. It is a great little language. So, Keith, you made me happy by bringing that in. I know we're getting some groans from one side and some hoorays from the other, but
happy.
You can run PowerShell on your Mac now. It's cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Brew install, bro.
Oh boy,
dude, that was the greatest thing that Microsoft did, in my opinion, was putting PowerShell on the Mac.
And we're doing some Power CLI too, right? Yeah, VMware Power CLI. Yeah, this is like, I guess this is like if we're in the VMware admin space, this PowerShell and Power CLI, or sometimes people call it PowerCLI, or Power CLI. It's a long story on that joke, but anyway,
well, now
that's like your first tool of like, I am a VMware admin and now I'm gonna automate some stuff because I've reached scale, or like I want to automate some host builds. I want to automate even like a VMware build, a VM template creation. Right? Like there's so many, like it's very easy to use. You don't have to have a whole lot of programming knowledge to pick it up. Especially now with LLMs and the vibe coding scene, you could probably get to some really dangerous situation here pretty quickly.
Do I just need PowerShell, or do I need Power CLI as well?
Yes, both. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Power CLI module.
Yeah, it's a module. Yeah, Power CLI is a module on PowerShell, right? So I was actually brew installing it today earlier.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the brew install so I can get.
Hold on, hold, please. I had it.
It was so, as somebody that did like 20 plus years in Microsoft when converting over to Linux distros and Mac and everything else, that was my biggest disappointment, was not having PowerShell. I did a happy dance when they brought PowerShell over to Linux. Awesome. And Keith's just making me happy by.
And that's what I've done in the enhanced one. I'm just about to, hopefully I get to ship it today, is it'll even check you have all those in place, and if not, install them. So it does all the, make the, even an easier button.
Oh my goodness.
And so my PowerShell got halted because it wanted my brew install got halted because it wanted a password. So that's running now too. Pro tip: PowerShell, Power CLI, and Docker. Hey, John.
Yeah.
Long time see, John. Yeah, John and I go way back. So yeah, he used to be we used to work together at where I used to work at. Buddies on the platform engineering side. So great to Great to see you there. Yeah, you might be interested in what we're talking about here. So we'll keep in touch. Thanks for watching.
Well, are we going to get to see some demos, or is it not ready?
I
get that, we can't go through a full install. We don't have the full time for that. We're only 30 minutes left, but
I can bring something up. DaShaun, where are you? I know we were talking a little bit last night.
Yeah, I have everything downloaded, but now I want to do it on the Mac. So instead of on the other machine, I'm gonna pull things over. But we have the CLI. We can take a look.
I want to see a runtime difference between the Spring and the PowerShell.
We're quite there yet.
I'm a ways away from that.
Yeah,
like a high level, what we're doing, so it will install what we call a Tanzu Operations Manager, or we just say Opsman. That's how we say, but just for those new to it, Tanzu Operations Manager. Mm-hmm. Then the script will install the Bosch director. Then we'll install the Tanzu the Elastic Runtime. Sorry, the small footprint runtime. And then it will put in Postgres, because we need that for the Gen AI tile, and put in then the Gen AI tile, and it'll set up some models for you. So you have the options as pre-configured models, so like the Nomic embedding, and if you just want a chat model, I'm using by default Gemma 2, or if you want chat and tools and you want to delve into MCP, it will put in Mistral. So you have lots of options along the way. A lot of guesswork has been taken out of it, so there's some defaults, but of course you can change them. And ballpark, you're looking from beginning to end about, depending on your underlying infrastructure, maybe 2 to 2.5 hours from click and go till you have literally a full running PaaS with AI capabilities.
So this is like the Cloud Foundry AI starter kit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, you could say that. Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's great minds think alike, Nikki. Anyway, that may be some foreshadowing. But anywho,
did I just let a cat out of the bag that I wouldn't even?
No, I don't know. Yeah, it's all good.
All right, so we're gonna have to do our pre-show 15 minutes early. Okay, here, Nikki.
No, it's all good. It's good. Anyway,
and by the way, just so everybody knows, I didn't know that. I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Yeah. I was not aware of anything.
Yes, the idea of this is to make it really simple to bootstrap, right? I mean, it's really simple to install it manually still too, but there are you gotta have a little tribal knowledge of what to skip past all the installer bits, right? Because there's a lot of knobs in Ops Manager throughout the decade plus of customer requests that came in of I need this, I need that. So then it kept growing until you can really configure many things. But just to get started on a simpler type environment, there's a very limited set that you can trim that input down into smaller set of parameters to not get confused or not worry about anything like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what we walk through. We just have to release it. Myself and Nick kind of did in Kelsey Hightower's fashion. Kubernetes the hard way. We did it Cloud Foundry. It's not the hard way. It's the slower way, because Cloud Foundry is not that hard.
Yeah.
It's just we walk through these options, why we choose them, why we don't. It's kind of a guided tour to a manual install and little gotchas along the way, and why we do this, why we don't do that. And then we have the easy button, which is just a quick script that does it.
Yeah.
Same defaults. That's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've been telling people. The way you get involved in this is just by starting to do it. And with Keith making it very easy for everybody, there's no reason people can't just do it. Jump in, see what happens, what goes wrong, what goes right.
I'm going to throw my screen up here.
Yeah, and we do plan to follow up with so that was you could say the hard way. Then we have the script, but then going how we do it in more enterprise environments using the platform automation toolkit, writing the concourse pipelines and really showing the power, how you can repave, just the power of the concourse. And again, you've had a lot of sessions here before, bringing AI into that. Querying it, modifying it. I'm sure was there a talk even on who do you have on here? What they had done with Concourse with AI.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Joey, Concourse GPT. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Ooh, you're talking my language.
So yeah, there's lots of fun stuff planned to show you. Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up the Joey show, because when everybody starts talking about AI, they're generally right now, the huge debate is, it looks like, everybody's 100% focused on AI doing code completion, but man, there's so many different use cases. And Joey's, the automation on documentation, that was huge. That is a huge time sink for a lot of developers. Nobody likes to do it. Man, imagine being able to use AI to help document and knock that workload out of you and let you focus more on feature sets.
Yes. Sorry. I'm trying to share my screen and it keeps failing. Thanks, StreamYard. Yeah, and then yes, while we talk about that, yeah, the small footprint looks like our haircuts, which it's very, very trim, right? Yeah. Anyway,
Nick just got
some years of doing it the hard way.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me try again. I don't know why I can't share my screens.
Childproof. I'm installing PowerShell, PowerCLI on my Mac.
Let me try a different screen.
So if nothing else goes right today, at least I've learned something. I feel like that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. But at least I've learned something today. Maybe somebody else has picked something up along the way. That'd be wonderful.
We're going to come back in like 3 weeks, and DaShaun's going to be a PowerShell convert.
Possibly. Possibly. It could happen. I like my Concourse still. I'm still a big Concourse fan.
Yeah, Concourse is a tool that I don't think gets enough credit. It is one of those unsung heroes. Much like Cloud Foundry, just works in the background, just tucked along.
It just runs. Okay, now I have one of my screens shared.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know what happened. What's happening right now? I blame my terrible machine. Anyway, okay. Now, all right, I'm gonna pull this over here because I wasn't quite. All right, now you're seeing my forest. Okay, great. All right, so did PowerShell install? Is it PWSH? Ah, yes. Okay, it is. It's loading. Is that Endor? I don't know. It's whatever default Mac stuff does these days.
Let's call it Endor.
Yes.
I was gonna say it's Nick's backyard.
Yeah. That'd be some big trees. All right. So I got some PowerShell. I did my PWSH to load PowerShell on Mac. It's been a while since I've done this, but
I'm in.
It's happening.
Working.
Yeah. Now I don't know why my machine is okay. Man, that took forever to load. I'm gonna buy a new Mac today. I think I've decided. I was on the edge, but
well, I do want to know when you're going to get
this.
Whatever the new name is for Project Digits. I'm surprised you haven't gotten a couple of those yet.
Well, you have to. So the deal was sign up to get on the list to buy it when it becomes available. And that's what I did.
The other version.
It's not available yet.
I think Acer's got one out. Is it Acer?
I don't think they're available yet, though. I could be wrong. Like the Founders Edition direct from NVIDIA isn't out yet.
No, I don't think the NVIDIA is out yet, but I think some of the other ones. Here, while you're going through, I'll look it up.
Okay. No, I had this on the screen. So, all right. So now I guess I need to install this PowerShell module as well. So.
Yep, I'm doing that as well. So I'm just doing the install module VMware PowerCLI.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm on that step as well.
This is even my screen even took a while to paint that command, if you noticed. So.
Maybe it's Coon Cloud as
No, this is not Coon Cloud device. Let me tell you that. Yes. Yes to all.
This device does not meet the minimum requirements.
Yeah.
To be part of the.
Well, this could turn into complete disaster where I can't even install the PowerCLI on this here. So anyway, I'll bring up the while this never loads on my machine. It'll take a while. Oh yeah, this is good. Okay. So we you brew install PowerShell, and then you install the PowerCLI commandlet inside of that. All right.
I'm pumped at the moment. Like I was all nervous about having to have a Windows machine, so this is a big deal. Let's make these changes. Let's make it happen.
I think you can pretty run this on Linux, Mac, Windows, whatever.
That's
all
awesome.
Right. So can we read this? No, I need to zoom in a little more, I think. All right. So I brought up Keith's repo here. And what are we going to do here? So the script's going to deploy Ops Manager, which is great. So it's going to bootstrap the bootstrapper, right? And then that will deploy our Bosch director, which is kind of the brains of all the infrastructure's code behind the scenes. We're going to get small runtime loaded. And then if you want to do the AI stuff, you're going to get Postgres and the GenAI tile. And if you really want to, you can install TKGI as well. But I'm not going to do that because I don't need that right now. And Keith's even taking some nice time to talk about some of the specs that you'll need. So you can really do this on a pretty minimal machine, so maybe 18 vCPUs, but it doesn't really use, I don't think, anywhere near that. Around 60 gigs of RAM and about 300 gigs of storage. So this is basically pretty much any of these mini PCs that you can get around there. I did this a while ago, I guess circa 2023 now at this point as well, on a kind of a mini PC with 128 gigs of RAM and an 8-core AMD Ryzen CPU as well. So that, those are, if you just want to bootstrap SRT, you can get that through. And then if you're doing some of the Gen AI stuff, you can use a little bit more resources.
Yeah, and then some of those small, NUC type boxes or NUC itself, like you have memory tiering in vSphere 8. So
yep,
it's a cheap way to get more memory. It's not DRAM, but it's good as, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look in the active memory, a lot of the memory, is not active. So offloading it to persistent memory is, not a bad idea.
Yeah,
but
it's quite impressive. Like it is literally a small footprint for getting a PAS.
Yeah, and so I mean, even like, because we're talking about 60 gig, 30, so 90 gig. And that's really, you can land the whole thing. I'm going to just exclude TKGI for the moment here because I don't really need the Kubernetes here. But within 90 gig of RAM, even without doing the memory tiering, you can bootstrap. So these smaller machines that you can maybe boot up to 96 gigs of VRAM or 128 VRAM, 96 gigs of RAM or 128 gigs of RAM on the mini Swarm A2 just is launching too. That looks like a very interesting single node or multi-node home lab situation if you're looking at buying some new gear and on the low power side, that type of thing. So a lot of different things.
Even like home lab aside, it's an easier conversation in enterprise, putting your use case forward, going, I need X, rather than these random single VMs with crazy number of cores and memory. And what's it for? You can do the Jedi thing. You do not need to know. You can put your use case forward of, let's try this. Look, it's already going to need this much resources. Let's give it a go. It's makes that use case a much easier.
Yeah,
that's very always been like the hard thing, right? 2019, 2018. Cloud Foundry sounds great. Can I install it on my laptop? How do I install it? It sounds great. And this, I feel like we're finally at that spot where we can do that, right? I got a laptop right there that's got 64 gigs of RAM. I could do memory tiering, but I could get Cloud Foundry running on it, or this little NUC box like this. We're finally at the spot where technology has moved in such a way. Cloud Foundry is still stable, tons of development going into it, and those have kind of converged. So now we can have this power of Cloud Foundry on a small footprint.
Whatever happened with Cloud Foundry dev? Nick, do you know?
That's a good question.
It worked for a long time.
Yeah,
it was hard to install, but when it was at its peak, the laptops that we had weren't powerful enough to run it. Right, you could get it installed, and you could not do much else. But I did plenty of workshops around CF Dev and getting concourse pipelines, because when you're in an environment where concourse is the thing, you wanted to test your pipelines. We had to give them a way of testing their pipelines before they do a commit. They wanted to test, like, hey, does this pipeline do what I want it to do? And then they committed to that centralized pipeline. That was a thing, but you want to validate it against a CF environment instead of against the production environment. So yeah, we
CF
run it locally.
local.
Yeah.
Was that CF local versus CF dev? Were those the same thing or separate?
We had, well, there's a bunch of different kind of iterations around the same thing. There was CF local, CF dev, Lattice was kind of a early version. Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And developers didn't have a lot of that. They didn't have the infrastructure. They didn't have the laptop that was strong enough to run it. And now I feel like now we're finally at that spot where we can run it in a small footprint and, on a Nook box sitting under the desk, and still do a bunch of other things.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the advancement of technology. I mean, we were just talking about your pies and the Turing pie and all of those things. I mean, the ability to have your own clusters and stuff now wasn't even really heard of, 5-6 years ago. Now people can build out their own data centers, maybe not to NIC scale, but
yeah, I'm looking for interns if anyone's interested.
Light.
Yeah. I have a capacity problem where I cannot offload hardware off my dock and install it in production as fast as I can order it off eBay. So yeah.
For the sake of Nick's kids, somebody come up and say, please do this with Nick so he doesn't put his kids to work.
You know what? I just got a vision of a LAN party, but a different kind of LAN party. A party where we just go to Nick's and we order pizza and we just stay up all night and just deploy that hardware.
Yeah.
That's my kind of LAN party. And today, as I say here, that is my kind of LAN party.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Yeah, it'd be a blast. There'd be some. I got a super micro board that's stuck in a boot loop, so maybe we could spend a few hours troubleshooting that and getting it out to work.
Style,
and then the cool lab party.
Great.
Yeah,
dude, I'm game. When are we doing it? Let's set some cameras up. We'll record the whole thing.
I think it would be even better if we don't set a date. We don't tell Nick when we're coming. We just show up.
Yeah,
show up.
Yeah, it might be a bit much for Keith to ask, but yeah, international travel.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we get a lot of progress, I think, for sure. But yes, what else?
I just want to see. So if we show up, I want to see what DaShaun's checked luggage looks like when he's bringing all of his new little holders for his Pi Army.
I got a new backpack that this rack will fit in. So if I can get it all nice and tight and working, then we'll be in good shape. So speaking of getting working, let's go down this script.
Yeah.
Things that I noticed are like, the low requirements to get started. That's really inviting. Again, the easy, I think we said everything except for easy onboarding, right? If I wanted to introduce Cloud Foundry to a team, to an org, or to a buddy, the idea that I can go and within a couple of hours, I expect this is going to be done within a couple of hours. I can say, hey, you got a VM. We can install. We can go from hey, I just got this off the dock to having a Cloud Foundry up and running in a couple of hours. Like, that's pretty amazing. And with that, we have even in this repository, there's like, hey, here's steps. You can see the power of Cloud Foundry. That's awesome. The minimum requirements, right, to walk through and get this set up, you can do it on one host. The big thing for me, back in 2015, 2016, the barrier, I didn't know VMware. I didn't have the VMware lingo. So I was kind of nervous. Like, what does this thing mean? What is this thing? And there is a little bit. If you've never done VMware, there's a little bit that you might learn. But most of our audience understands that. But I'll say that in this repository, the little prereqs, the little guidance that we have goes a long way. So even if you've not done VMware, you've never been a VM admin, you get a lot of help here. It's real sane defaults, just the basics to get you up and running. That's powerful.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll just scroll through this really quickly. Now, I know Keith's working on a newer version that's a little bit more streamlined, but essentially, all you really need to do to get started here. So you got to download some of the bits from the Broadcom portal. So we're talking Ops Manager, the SRT tile, the OM CLI. So if you haven't seen that, that's like. So I know we talked about Concourse and things, but this, and this, to me, this is like a better version of the Bosch bootloader or Bosch BBL, because that's a way to bootstrap things in public clouds, and I guess you could do it with vSphere too. But it's greatest thing about vSphere is you got this concept called an OVA in the public clouds. You don't have that, so even just bootstrapping a VM is somewhat troublesome and cumbersome, really, by hand. So there's some like Terraform and other scripts to like bootstrap the initial VM, but like you can deploy an OVA in like a minute, right? Just right click, deploy OVA, right?
Yep.
In vSphere. So I kind of think of like this is the VI admins friendly way to bootstrap Bosch and Ops Manager without even doing the OVA. Once that's done, you could then use the OM CLI to target that and pull some of those configs. And if you really wanted to throw that in platform automation, you'd use this and then graduate to platform automation in different steps per se, without having the full, all right, I don't need to have a concourse. I don't need to learn concourse, that type of thing to get started. So that's kind of,
I spent a lot of time in the OM CLI.
Yeah.
And if I'm reading this right, what Keith's putting together, that's to get you started, but you'll eventually want to get into concourse because that's what's going to keep you maintained.
Yeah. I got a question for the audience. As I was talking with Nick last night, and I'm kind of like, repaving the home lab, just like always. I went down this path of, hey, I've got one node. Instead of making a big cluster, what if I deployed 5 small runtime clusters? What if I deployed 5 of those and I give those out to my team and I let them kind of explore, let them maintain, do their tile deployment. So not everybody has to fit in the same box. And it made me think about this idea of big cluster versus small cluster in the enterprise, right? Like how big of a blast radius do you want? There is risk, right? We have these isolation segments. There is risk of having a blast radius and being able to contain it. But that's another possibility for this small runtime is I can have some flexibility in what workloads. Different foundations might have different requirements, right? I can get out the door. I can get to a POC quickly, but also I can have the procurements software running on a small runtime, small footprint in that data center in that region.
Right.
And again, low risk, high value, low risk. This is another kind of value add to having this small runtime. I don't have to have the massive infrastructure. I'm not looking for, in this case, the high density to reduce the amount of spend. In this case, I'm looking for, I want an easy target. I want something where I can go, I can CF push, I can have the automation. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I want to get something up and running out the door. And all the other things that are kind of baked in. I'm not having to go and sit at ingress. I have a lot of this stuff, the routes, the security pieces, all of these are managed for me. This is huge value. So even though we're saying it's small runtime or small footprint, we don't lose any of the value that Cloud Foundry has been providing for years.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about like Kubernetes at the edge and things. And it's like, do you really want Kubernetes at the edge? Like, you could do that. And some people have, and that's great. But then it's like, you still have all those problems of like ingress controllers. How are you doing a container registry at scale across like, your potential thousands of remote offices or locations? Like, do you have like a centralized thing? But like you could drop a small runtime and get a full pass plus all the data services in a 1, 2, 3 host cluster situation. Be very interesting.
Let's say it again for the people in the back.
Right.
The data idea, the things that you get from the marketplaces built into Cloud Foundry, how we can stand up data services, not just stand them up, we can do the full lifecycle management of data services. This is something that we don't talk about enough. Yeah. Everybody.
Absolutely not.
Cloud Foundry for data.
Yep.
Data only foundations are a concept. When Service Gateway was brought in, data only foundations. So when I worked at a company, that was one of the ways that I brought customers into Cloud Foundry. Typical for a MySQL rollup, right? That was 2 months at the company I worked at.
That is it. You're
Come
speaking
to me. I can do it for you in 15, 20 minutes.
I can have a room full of 40 engineers. Hey, let's all stand up, leader follower pairs.
Yep.
In this workshop in minutes.
Yep.
And
waiting
for 2 months.
Like you said, the full life cycle management. You want to do the updates. You can update at scale with this, and even going beyond that. I mean, just take away from the technical side of this small runtime. Again, a lot of companies are looking at chargeback now. How are you going to do chargeback? Build small runtime foundations per team or per business unit, and you know exactly what they're using. You're not having to come up with any new methods to figure out how you're going to, swap costs around. You can now do a chargeback based on foundation, and that's theirs. You don't have to worry about bleed over or crosstalk between other companies or other lines of business. Shouldn't say companies, but other lines of business. I mean, that's just from a financial perspective, that's a huge use case.
Yeah.
The door is open.
Yes. So many use cases that we haven't really talked about or explored enough, I would say. Yeah. And then, I get a shout out to Corby here. RabbitMQ and Cloud Foundry is saying, so on this note, Findsy is cooking up some stuff with RabbitMQ that I've seen based on some direct customer interactions, let's say. There's some crazy things happening with RabbitMQ, and that ability of the multi-AZ situation we're talking about, like at let's just say cloud / very large customer scale, and just having like a leader follower, like a full active or multi-replicated RabbitMQ cluster getting deployed, and then having that scan across like all multiple zones within a just a CF create service type concept. I don't think those issues have been solved by really anyone here within the running your own infrastructure perspective. Now, some of the cloud providers have I can go to like the Azure portal and get a whatever database replicate, blah blah blah. But if you want to have that power within your own organization, Bosch is this magic superpower that you can get and then basically turn your private cloud into a real private cloud, so to speak, with that orchestration. So
and let's be honest. I mean, I had a customer that was, hey, I want a database as a service. I want to be able to update all my databases. I want to be able to self-service. What do we got to do that? Man, you've had it for years. You're just not looking at it correctly.
Don't call it a comeback.
Do what?
It's been there the whole time.
Call it a comeback.
Yeah. It's been there. It's just not that thing that I think a lot of people, when people look at Cloud Foundry, they really look at it as a way to get applications and workloads out. They never really considered that it can do other things. And absolutely, data as a service. This is absolutely a huge use case that I think people should be looking at, and not just databases, but RabbitMQ, Redis, those sorts of things that are on the platform that you can bring up.
As an app developer, it's all of the things that I need for me to say, oh, I've got a cloud. Cloud Foundry provides all the things I need. Of course, in the cloud, you can grab all sorts of little widgets, and you can have all the different kind of baseline builder blocks for building all sorts of cool things. Of course, you can do that. But for what I need today to get out the door and to stay running, Cloud Foundry provides that. But let's just be clear. The small runtime that we're talking about, that's not just for here. These clouds, they've got hundreds of regions. Hundreds of regions. I can put a small runtime in those clouds as well. Correct? Okay. Yeah. I like this idea of not just having my own cloud here in my closet or in CoonLab. The idea that I can burst to the cloud, I can have a small runtime in that region that has a holiday. I can go and I can stand up and I can have room for extra capacity. I can send extra traffic there. That's great. And then when I'm done, I'm done. But I have that small runtime, that small footprint, that small thing. Being able to handle burst traffic.
John? How could this change mindsets? Instead of, we always talk about microservice. What about microdata? Microdata is something that I think is huge. You can put these databases up that they're sequestered to a team, so that you don't have you lower the blast radius of that data, but then you can use something like Spring Cloud Data Flow to transform that and move that data around as you see fit to a bigger data lake.
I don't know what it's like in your house, Nikki. I don't know. But in my house, my children will never deploy active passive. If I'm an enterprise and I'm working around the globe, I want to have active data all the way around the globe. And I can do that. I've got the tools, and having a foundation where I can connect the dots, where I can do active around the globe. I don't want one spot. I don't want the latency. Latency is the new downtime. So I put a foundation with the data where it needs to be around the globe, and I can connect the dots.
Yep.
So
there's a whole marketplace, as we said, of services you can literally enable out of the box, but also this third party. Like we support as many. The marketplace is bigger than you think, and just like the hyperscalers, you know, when you go on and look at the services, you're going, "Whoa, that's a big shopping list. Where do I begin?" But like we guide you as well. We have loads of what our customers are using. It's proven, but also the third party as well. So there is plenty of choice. But again, it's not another platform. It does it. You don't have to go somewhere else, learn another technology, stand it up, put OR back. It's just
I can do the same thing in all the clouds and in my data center.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And you look, that's where one of the places where Cloud Foundry, I think, was ahead of its time, because even if we don't officially support it, there's not a tile. There's this concept of user provided service. Hook up whatever you want, right? If we don't officially support it, you can still use it on Cloud Foundry, and you can still apply these concepts on Cloud Foundry.
Yes,
user
provided own brokers.
And based on that framework, a lot of people running Cloud Foundry have built custom brokers. To extend the marketplace based on their custom thing, right? Like they might have some specific database technology that, you know, maybe specific to their, how do you say, their business model or their, you know, industry, that type of thing. Or, you know, there's a lot of custom brokers out there too that people are cooking up because they have a very specific need. And
shout out Spring Cloud Open Service Broker. Like you can go build your own broker to do your own things. Right. This is just another way that the Spring ecosystem meets up and has such a great partnership with Cloud Foundry. Like,
Cloud Foundry doesn't have it. I guarantee you spend 15 minutes looking on GitHub, you'll find somebody that's done it.
Bring your own broker.
So many use cases. I'm so happy to see that Cloud Foundry is coming back.
Don't call it a comeback.
Hey, it's not bragging if you can back it up, right?
I know. So this is good. What I'd like to do, I know that we're kind of pushing on time. What I think would be cool is we should circle back and we should do a video just like your the hard way. We should do a video, and I think we could probably do that today. I think we could get one out. Like, hey, here's what it looks like, because I can go through all the steps of like, hey, I just pulled it out of the box. I installed ESX. I installed VCSA. Thanks for your help last night, Nick. And then I push the buttons, and I'm just going to use the values that I just set up my cluster with, and go. I think we could do that. And you know what else I think would be fun? I think it'd be fun to just time it. Let's do the clicker.
Yeah, I think Keith is looking for some more hands and validation too. So if you're out there and you could grab the script and want to test it, let us know how it works for you, and if there's anything gotchas, you know, I think we will accept PRs and that type of thing as well, Keith.
Pull request.
Yeah.
We get the show notes out on Monday. We'll make sure we got links into the repo. Make sure we got to the links in to talk to Keith. Everybody knows DaShaun. You know how to get a hold of us. So absolutely.
Don't miss it. Yeah, don't miss our show. It'll be on a Wednesday, I believe, next week.
And I'll say happy Thursday, everybody.
It's always Thursday for Nikki. Every time.
For those of you listening on the podcast, happy Thursday.
We've been doing this over a year. It's stuck in my head that Thursdays are the days that we do shows, and when we don't do shows, it messes me up.
I gotta get
Thursday
something.
Is my version of Nick's anywho.
Anywho, I gotta get something scheduled on a Monday to see what happens. But I guess, do we have any? I know we're kind of on time, and it's probably getting kind of late for Keith as well. So, any other topics? So, anything else we're going to close the show out? Like we should. Well, I apologize. We're a little delayed here and trying to get get the script run in show, but it wouldn't have finished anyway in time. So, we'll get a video of like DaShaun putting in his inputs, and I have a few foundations I meant to rebuild. So we could maybe time it and see what's going on there, get some more content around there to see it. But everything's out there for you to pick it up. And some of those, John, Dobbs, Corby, all everyone out there, like if you're interested, I know y'all have been in the scene for a while, so you should be able to, kind of try to get started where we're at so far too. So let us know if you have any feedback. It'd be great to hear it.
Yeah, jump in, break it, right? Show us. This is meant to be the easy button. So if you find something, make sure you call it out in the issues. Make sure we know. And I use the word "we" very loosely because I've got nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a collective community, right?
And most importantly, Wednesday, Cloud Foundry North America. We're going to be doing the show early, so make sure you tune in. And if you're not going, shame on you. You should be there. We want to see everybody's faces.
The link to Keith's current version of the script is in the comments, and take it for a spin. Spring Cloud Open Service Broker. We'll make sure we get all those links in the show notes. Show notes don't come out till Monday. Got to give time for YouTube to encode, and then I can do all the show notes. But we'll get those in next week, and they'll be there ready for everybody.
Yes, and maybe one day I'll catch up on the podcast publishing. Now I'm 3 behind, so hey, I'll figure it out. Yeah, and this is a great time to bring out the like and subscribe pillow.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, don't forget, right? You should click the thumb button, like it, subscribe, whatever. Check us out.
Like that's nice.
Yeah, I was inspired by Dan Vega because he pulled out we were doing this bit way back when, and he pulled out like a very fancy subscribe pillow. So I got inspired. His is better than mine. Mine's too big to really fit it on the screen properly. So every time I'm like, I should buy a new pillow, but I just keep doing this awkwardly, I should subscribe. Yeah, it's another Thursday or Friday. Nick's messing around with this stupid pillow. But yeah.
No, what really happened was Dan showed the pillow. It's a nice compact pillow that fits on the screen. And Nick's like, hold my beer, and he brings it. He's got the big pillow to take that Dan Vega.
Yeah, I see your small pillow. I've got a full size banner over here.
Pretty soon we'll just have it on the green screens behind us.
Yes, yeah. Or if we were really fancy, we'd have a little button, and we could do little effects, right? Bam, bam, bam. Like and subscribe. Nice. But we're not that official yet.
We don't do live. It's hard to do that stuff live without investing in a lot of equipment. But
yeah, one day.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
And I just want to go back. We're over a year now on this. DaShaun Carter was the person that got us going. I just want to go ahead and call that out. Hey, let's talk about how we're going to do this Cloud Foundry Weekly. And DaShaun goes, yeah, you're doing it next Thursday. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yep.
You guys can swing. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I still have that calendar invite on my calendar. So
as do I.
Yeah.
As do I.
All right.
Keith, thank you so much for everything you've done. I will do my best to get a video out of just running through it. Nick has helped me out. And yeah, let's do it. Not just once, let's do it twice. Let's do it on some different hardware, and let's just make sure it works. Kick the tires a little bit.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. We'll throw it on the Turing pie along with some other stuff. So I'll jump in and start doing that here after Nick.
Sounds good. I guess we should we'll close out. Thanks for watching, everyone watching. Don't forget to another like and subscribe plug, and check us out at cloudfoundryweekly.com whenever I publish this podcast. But yeah, so we'll close off with a CF bye, and then we'll see you next week. 3, 2, 1.
CF bye.